Let's move to that next team.
Yeah, let's talk about that next team. A little bit better vibes here, depending on who you are. Yeah, no, I have A+, most definitely.
Boston Celtics talking about.
Have to be. Best record in the NBA, best offensive rating in the NBA, second best defensive rating in the NBA, by far and away number one in net rating. I think the next closest is OKC, and I think they're like 4 points less than them in net rating. Wow. The Boston Celtics seemingly have it all right now. They've been playing with that same energy all season long. At home, we understand they're the most dominant team in the league. And, of course, they handle business when they are on the road as well. But, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, you look at this team and just top to bottom, it seems as if they don't have a hole. The only true concern is the health of Kristaps Porzingis. If he is 100% healthy, there is almost no team in the league that should be favored over them as we currently stand. They have to have an A+.
A+, yeah. I mean, against great teams, they're the best team against teams over 500, best team against teams under 500. They have an eerily similar, if you look at their record as we stand today, 44-12, and their net rating, which is like 10.6, it's identical to the 2007-2008 Boston Celtics team, who we know what happened.
They won the championship that year.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't recall.
That's when he wasn't rocking with the Celtics the way they was now.
No way. I rock with Celtics way more now. So I've really been through more of the mud than anything as a Celtics fan.
You've been through the mud.
No, I'm joking. But no, this team's been sensational. Jayson Tatum, top 5, 6 in MVP voting. Jaylen Brown has taken an adjusted role for this team, really locking in on defense, and then offensively, not scoring as many points, but assists are up, turnovers are down. Porzingis fitting perfectly. Drew Holiday's highest 3-point shooting season of his career. Derek White. I mean, top to bottom, this team's been sensational. And we were just talking before the show. There's really no excuse for them not to at least make the finals. Like, there's in the East, at least, once we get to the West and you got Denver, you got some teams out there, but excuse me, we were talking about this last night at Miller's, but outside of a finals appearance, that should be the minimum for this team, like Drew mentioned, as long as they're healthy.
And it's A+. How much better can you be than the Boston Celtics? As you were naming what they're great at, Drew, when you were talking about the Celtics, Dales, I'm happy for you, man. You're watching a great basketball team this year. Hopefully you can win the championship. I really hope they do for you, because it's, 2.5 years now we're running on with the Celtics that they're favored. Third year TBD. Last year they were favored. They didn't win a championship.
First year, I don't know if we'd say they were
We weren't favored.
They were definitely favored to beat the Warriors in a series.
Well, no. Sportsbooks had them as the underdogs. ESPN fucked up.
Okay. I was curious. When we were out there, that's what we were talking about. And I was
Which
like,
one do we care more about?
For the purposes of this show, we'll
easily
use ESPNI.
No!
The sportsbooks are the ones taking millions of dollars on it. ESPN doesn't lose nothing.
ESPN is kind of like,
they try to big bro everyone and try to snatch their money.
Okay, I'll give you that then. Last year they were favored.
Yes.
This year they're favored again.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't hate the Celtics, contrary to popular belief.
Let's just...
You're a liar.
I actually hope that they can win a championship. But I don't know how many years it's been now. It just hasn't been 3.
It's been 2.
There have been years before even the past 3 years where I feel like the Celtics should have been better. They should have went to the finals. The second year with Kyrie Irving, when everybody came back, I mean, that was one of the worst vibes teams ever.
It was a lot of me, guys. There was injuries to that team, too.
Exactly.
Injury.
But that team, I had finals expectations for. And I know that after you guys got Kemba, things didn't go your way in the bubble, but, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are still growing. There's just an energy around the Celtics that makes me not fully want to buy into them.
And what is it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm not the only.
Energy.
I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the only one that feels this way, because nobody.
Majority of the world feels like the Celtics are favored.
Mess it up.
True.
Exactly.
The majority of the world feels like the Celtics are going to mess it up, the basketball world. Are you 100% confident the Celtics going to finals want to win the championship?
100%?
Win a championship?
That's what the goal should be this year.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
But in terms of the Eastern Conference and getting to the finals, I'm damn near 100% confident that they can do it. Winning the finals is tough for the idea of the Nuggets really haven't been playing all too serious in terms of what we've seen them play at last season. And the Clippers, who are legitimately... let me not say they're Boston Celtics level well-rounded, but they're pretty damn close in their own right.
I don't think it's... And by the way, what you said about not 100% trusting the Celtics, I think is fine. There's rarely a team who hasn't won a championship with their core group that you go into a playoff setting with being like, I know this team's going to do it. Before Denver won last season, there were still questions around, can Denver win a championship? I mean, fucking LeBron, before he won his first ring, all of the jokes and memes about him in the finals. Like, until you actually do it, no one's going to 100% believe you. But adding Porzingis to this team, I think that's the key that can unlock it.
What do you think, Rev?
They're the most unstoppable team in the league. I mean, you guys.
You mentioned, you saw firsthand last night against Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
What's your confidence level? The same question I asked you, I want you to answer.
I would say 9 out of 10. I think my confidence, like to come out the East, I would say 10 out of 10. In the finals, it really just depends on who they play. If it's like Denver, I go like 7 out of 10. If it's Clippers, about 6, 7 out of 10. I think those are.
You're more confident in the Clippers right now than the Nuggets?
To play Boston?
No, to win a championship. I'm gonna be honest. I feel that way.
I feel like it really depends on the path for me. Like
Okay.
I think all these teams provide different challenges and they all provide different paths. Like Denver, yeah, because they have the experience, but the Clippers have Kawhi, so it's like I have the same like trust level in both teams.
Fair enough.
Maybe a little bit more with Denver because I've seen the Clippers
did it.
choke before. So like yeah, and I think with Boston, coming out the East, I think for them the issue is internally. It's always with them internally. Like I don't think they past 2-3 years they've had the most talent in the East. They've walked into series, they're the clear best team. But it's everything always happens internally with coaching or just their mental. So I think I do think they walk out the East this year. But I think in the finals that's really where it's going to be tested. But I'm pretty confident in Boston.
The one thing I'm most curious to see, and then we'll move on because we don't got to spend too much time, is Jayson Tatum has mentioned this in pressers before that he knows game in and game out there's going to be games where he doesn't have to go up there and put up 30, 40 points for us to win. Like he knows there's going to be, whether it's playmaking, rebounding, defense. He knows the talent is at such a high level on this team that he doesn't need to take over. Once the playoffs come around, I think that mindset needs to change. The Celtics, it's going to be very difficult to win a championship if Jayson Tatum isn't playing around a top 5 level pretty consistently. Definitely. We could talk about Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Joe Mazzulla, all of these dudes. But to me, I need to see Jayson Tatum, I don't want to say change his mindset because he's been great this season, but there has to be moments where either the threes aren't falling, you're in a fourth quarter situation, you're Jayson Tatum, the best player on this team. You can't be like, all right, I'm going to get an open shot for Drew Holiday in the corner, even though that's been damn near the best shot in basketball. But there's got to be moments where it's like, this is where I step up to my occasion. This is where I cement myself. And if you win a championship, that's going to basically, I don't want to say not end your career, but in terms of Hall of Fame, like that's the last step. And he knows it. So those Hall of Fame, those type of dudes that he could get to, if he's able to win a championship, potentially win more, that's what he has to do.
And that's the difference between him and the guys like Kawhi, the Joker, Steph. That's the difference. The gap. They know that's the gap. When it's time, playoff time, don't give a fuck about who it is. They're the best players when they walk in every night, LeBron and shit like so. Yeah, no,
I'll tell you what's a little bittersweet in that regard, though, because Tatum's had some of those moments where he is the best player on the court by far. I think of that Game 6. We literally had this conversation yesterday about how I understand he has the record for most points in a Game 7. That game versus Milwaukee, Game 6 in Milwaukee, is like his stamp on him saying, I am one of the league's best.
But I don't think the East is a problem for him.
Nope.
I don't
agree.
think he's scared of anybody.
But I say that with that idea.
West.
Agreed. He's had moments like that, but then what's the overwhelming instance of his career that allows people to not remember Game 6 in Milwaukee is the unfortunate collapse in the finals.
You got to do it in the
Andrew
biggest
Wiggins
moment. You got to do it in Game 7s. You got to do it in the finals. Although, I mean, he did it Game 7 against Philly. But especially in the finals, that's when you got to make your money.
The recent interview with Malika, was it Malika Andrews or Taylor Rooks?
No, it was Malika.
It was Malika Andrews.
It was Taylor Rooks. He been saying a whole bunch of bullshit.
You saw they said Jalen's got 1 year to win 5 rings.
I know Tatum is a soft-spoken person. The way he answered that question of if he thinks he's the best in the world,
he didn't believe it.
Wish there was a little bit more confidence to it. I didn't feel like I believed that he believed it. Quite frankly, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but with how he said it, I feel like he was still timid.
Last year he said Giannis was the best player in the world. Now he's saying Sim.
I feel like if you have a case as being one of the best in the world, you can still firmly say, yeah, I'm the best. But there's also some type of self-awareness that needs to be had where, hey, I haven't won a championship. I haven't won an MVP. I could argue I've been the best player this season, but what my accolades or, lack thereof has not helped me be stamped best in the league. I can understand a little bit of hesitancy.
Tatum was on Wallow show, Wallow and Gil, and not Wallow and
Gillian
I think that
Wallow.
was worth the game.
Yeah, and he named his top 5 player. He didn't put himself in it. I think this was like last year.
Last offseason,
Yeah,
I
he
think.
put
I remember
all the guys that won essentially, like Steph,
Yeah.
LeBron.
He knows it too. He's been saying it in these.
He needs to win. Once he wins, he feels like
It's tough though because there's not many people that play offense and defense as well rounded as he does.
Really,
so it's like he has a case. He can. He
Case for
should
what?
believe it, being one of the best in terms of him believing it.
he has no case right now.
If he believes
To be
it
the
or
best
not,
player. No, no case.
No, he should be, but he's good enough to say I'm the best
Yes,
player.
that's
I
what
think
I'm
that's
saying.
fine.
Yes,
that's
for
what I'm
sure,
But
saying.
he doesn't have a legit case to be the best. player in the world.
No. Fucking Jokic just won a championship, Finals MVP,
He
two MVPs.
got to get that ring.
Yes.
But
Like
he got to
this.
do it in like some real.
He can't
legit
even be
fashion.
seen over Giannis yet, and he's beaten Giannis in the playoffs.
We'll move off the Celtics in 2 minutes. I want to get this last scenario out there because I just thought of it. And plus, Celtics are an interesting team. They're the best
I was
team in
gonna
the
say
East.
this is
We
the
should
most
devote
time
more
that
time
we've
to them.
divided.
30 minutes
devoted
in.
to them.
It's
Let's
just
go,
30
Gus.
minutes in 2 teams.
There will be
So
some
we're
teams
pacing
where
terrible.
We were talking about some shit beforehand.
We were.
True,
we
true.
were. So, okay.
Oh, well, we get to Charlotte. We could just.
Yeah. Well, I like Charlotte Loki. What do you mean? I'm just kidding.
You want to disregard Grant Williams? The Grant
I'll
Williams era?
let Drew do all the talking.
4-0.
We're gonna start conversations.
Now they're what,
Joel.
14 and what?
What conversations?
I'm not gonna say anything.
14 wins,
I'm not
though,
gonna say
hey.
anything.
4
They're
less than
14
they
and
had.
41. They're 14 and 41.
It's 14.
That's the opposite of the Celtics.
Hold on, they
yeah,
are the
we're
next team. So
44
let's not
and
move.
12.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Go
Okay,
ahead.
what's the scenario?
So the
I'm
scenario
sure it's
is,
gonna be positive and
for
great.
one, when you were talking about Tatum winning championship,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to me. Thinking of that scenario, him winning and where he'll be placed because he's so young. I think
25.
sometimes we forget that. Nah, he's 26. I don't think he's 25.
He
I think he's
turns
26.
26 in a couple weeks.
So he's 25 right now.
sometime in
Jalen Brown's
March.
26.
Okay.
Jalen Brown's 26.
He's
know what I'm talking about.
25, about to turn 26.
Maybe 26.
Jayson Tatum is a 5-time All-Star. He's about to be a 4-time All-NBA player.
Sure.
If he wins a championship, I'm not going to say I'm going to say it, but will a lot of people have him as the best player in the world?
I don't think so. I
Why
think,
not? Because he's accomplished everything you got to
He has
accomplish
to have a, he
to
would
be
have
the
to
best
have
player in
a
the world.
real,
Question.
he'd have to real
Remember-
dominant finals
remember
performance.
after-
He would have to go out there and put up damn near like triple
Remember
double
after
on
the
great
bubble,
efficiency to do that.
and people were saying AD was the best player in the world after they won the championship.
number 2. He was they said number 2.
No, they say he was the best player in the world. They were,
never
people were
heard that.
pushing for that.
He was definitely viewed as top 2,
Top 2, most
3.
definitely.
Yeah,
But
for
LeBron
sure.
was
if
just finals
Tatum
MVP.
wins it, would he have a better case than when AD had a case after the bubble?
For sure.
Yeah.
He's the best player on the team.
Here's my rationale to why he wouldn't be. Think about what it took for Jokic to be stamped as best in the world. 2 MVPs back to back, and then finally winning a championship and finals MVP. He would still need his MVP, which he does not have. And also, let's look at another player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Same resume as Nikola Jokic, and he closed out the final with a 50 ball. And he's been stamped for a few years as the best player in the league outside of last year. Steph Curry, who has the only unanimous MVP season, if I'm not mistaken, went back-to-back, has 4 MVPs, 4 finals, 1 finals MVP, has not been unanimously stamped as the best player in the league, not one time in his career. For it to be given to Jayson Tatum like that early into his career would be a little preemptive.
That's a good argument, but it's different. Steph Curry was dominating an era that had LeBron James
Unfortunately, yes.
in this era, as much as I love Nikola Jokic, I don't think there's a consensus he's the best. For me, he's the best.
I
but
think most people
there,
do.
There could
was
be
either
there
him or
could
Giannis.
be
It was
arguments
always a
made
back and
for
forth.
Giannis. Exactly. Right now, the best player in the world throne is up for grabs. Jokic is the best player in the world because he won a championship.
Yeah.
Had he not won, there was people that had him outside the top 3 because they thought him being a defensive liability in the playoffs would cost his team. If Tatum wins a championship, I think that's going to be pushed, that he is the best player
I think
in the
it'll
world.
also be pushed, but the resume and the case for
To
the
be
other
fair,
two
He'll be
guys can be above
stamped
him.
top 5 most deaths.
After the 2022 summer, people were pushing Steph was the best player in the world after he beat the Celtics.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
People were giving, like, when you win and you do it in the fashion like Giannis, Steph done it, the Joker, like when you win in that type of fashion, you can get that tag. So
That's
if Tatum
fair.
goes out there, he plays the Clippers hypothetically, and he puts on the 35 ball for the series. You can. I'm not saying it's right, but you will have the ammo to push. He's the best player in the world. Look what he just did to Kawhi, PG, James Harden, put on an impressive finals, and then just walk through the East. You just got to put on a performance. People only remember what you just did.